it's Kim from Kim Dixon Creative. Thanks so much for stopping by my channel. If you're not currently a subscriber, I would love it if you would become one. And don't forget to click the little bell icon so that you can be notified each time I upload a new video. Today, I am thrilled beyond belief to bring you my first project for TLC Designs. TLC Designs has a lot of great digital stamps as well as photopolymer stamps and dies. I'll leave a link in my description box below to the shop so that you can head over and take a look for yourself. Today I've made an interactive card with the Slimline Multi-Slider Die and also Festive Friends digital stamp. I'll also leave a list of all of the other supplies that I used to make this card in the description box below, with links where possible. Now enough chatty, let's make a card. Okay, so what I've done, I've printed out the images that I want to use onto my Express It blending card. I really like using the Express It blending card when I'm coloring with my alcohol markers. It makes blending so much easier, and it just looks a lot better, I feel like, when I'm using my alcohol markers. What I do, I use my Silhouette Studio software to arrange the images the way I want them. This time I knew that I would be using my Brother Scan and Cut to cut them out, but within your the Silhouette Studio software, you can arrange the characters and the images the way you want them. You can layer them. You can put some in front and some behind, and just do a one layer card that way and just color your images in that manner. And I'll be doing some like that in the coming months, but right now what I wanted to do was I wanted to have some layers and textures on this card. So what I'm using right now is my Nuvo alcohol markers, and I'm using some warm grays to color his ears and his arms and legs and his face. And what I typically do is I lay down my lightest color first, and then I go back with my darkest color and add the shades, and then blend that out with my mid-tone colors, and then again with my lightest marker and blend it all together. For the koala's body, I'm using the Pebble Beach Trio from Nuvo markers. It's number 495N, 497N, and 499N. And I want to go ahead and apologize ahead of time. My voice sounds funny. I've got a grandchild, got 2 grandchildren, and I'm going to love on them, and God bless their little souls. They're going to give me every little bug that they pick up. And the littlest one has a cold, and Grammy woke up with it this weekend. So I'm fighting through some major drainage and that sort of thing, but I'm fighting through it, and I hope you can forgive the sound of my voice. As I continue to color this koala, I'm just adding some shades as I go, and I'm almost through coloring his body, and then or in his legs, arms, head, and ears. And then I'm going to take the Fair Skin Trio and color in his tail, his tummy, and the insides of his ears. Again, laying down my lightest shade, coming in with my darkest color, and then my mid-tone, and then blending out with the lightest color again. The color that you see on the screen looks a little more orange than it does in real life. The colors are kind of not showing true like they truly appear. It's a more of a tan color. I just wanted his tummy and his ears to be a little bit different color than the rest of his body. I've never met a koala. I don't know if this is what they really look like, but this is how I want my koala to be. So once I get him colored up, now I'm coming in with my the colors for his nose. I'm using the Stormy Grays Trio 491N, 489N, and 487N to color in his nose. And then I'm going to take a white gel pen and just give him a little highlight here and there on his nose and his tummy and on his legs. And now I'm coloring all of my leaves. And I have several different colors that I'm going to color my leaves. I used the Woodland Greens Trio, the Sunshine Yellows, the Cookies and Creams, the Royal Purples, the Fragrant Oranges, and the Coral Reefs to color up all of my leaves. I want my koala to be jumping in a pile of leaves. And I will continue coloring these for a little while in the same manner that I have. I lay down my lightest color, go in with my darkest shade, and then with my mid-tone, and then blending all of that out with my lightest shade again. I'm going to continue coloring, showing you my coloring, but I'm going to be quiet instead of chatty, and just put on some music and let you watch me color, and we'll come back together when we start to put the card together. So once I get all of my leaves and everything colored up, I'm going to put them in my Brother Scan and Cut and get those cut out. The images are very easy to cut. You could very easily just fussy cut them, but I'm going to take the lazy way out and use my Brother Scan and Cut. Okay, now I'm going to take a piece of accent opaque white cardstock. This is 80 pound, and I've cut it down to 3 1/4 by 8 1/4. And I'm just going to ink blend using some stencils. Ink blend some grass and some sky. I'm using Twisted Citron Distress Oxide ink, and a stencil that I got from Simon Says Stamp. It's called the Grassy Edges stencil. And then for my sky, I have MFT's Mini Cloud Edges stencil that I'm using to just color up my sky. It has 4 edges on it with different cloud formations, so you can really use that to color up a sky without looking like you're stenciling the same cloud over and over again. And so that first set, I came in a little bit heavy, a little darker than I wanted, but that's okay. You know, sometimes the sky's darker up in the top. Just going to blend down, and as I get down toward the grass, I'm not even going to use a stencil. I'm just going to blend in over top of the grass. That tumbled glass is the color that I'm using of my Distress Oxide. Will blend in very well with that grass. You won't even be able to tell that it's touched one another. Now I'm measuring to see how I want my slider mechanism to look. I have decided that I want the one that's 3 3/4, and I've cut that out of the center of my card front. And I misspoke a minute ago when I told you the size of this piece of card that I have ink blended on. It was actually cut to 3 1/2 by 8 1/2, and I'm cutting it back down now to 3 1/4 by 8 1/4. And you can see where I have that slot cut in the center for my slider mechanism. Now I'm cutting down another piece of white cardstock. It's the same accent opaque white cardstock in 80 pound, down to 8 1/4 by 3 1/4. I just want this to be my back. And again, I'm checking to make sure that that slider is going to be where I want it, and it's going to stop where I want it. I'm going to take the piece that was cut from the slider and glue that to the background, so that if that shows when your mechanism is sliding up and down, you're still going to get to see the sky in the background. I'm going to layer up some of my leaves that I've colored and cut out, and make a little pile of leaves on the ground. I want my koala to be jumping up and down in the leaves. And I realize that there are probably no royal purple leaves in real life, and that most of you don't see green leaves on the ground in fall, but I do live in the South, and it takes a while for the leaves to turn colors. So sometimes we end up with green leaves on the ground in the fall. But so I just went ahead and added in some green, and purple is just a really pretty fall color to me, so I wanted to add that in. So I'm going to take my art glitter glue and just glue down some of these extra leaves up around the card, so it looks like there are leaves falling from the tree, or maybe they're flying up in the air as my koala jumps up and down in the leaves. It looks like my little koala is happy for fall. And while fall is my second favorite season, it is very closely my second favorite season. I am a summer girl. I like the warm weather. I like the beach. I like the pool. But fall is good too, because as we said, I am from the South, and football is the thing. So I do like the fall. As you see, the card gods decided that I needed a yellow leaf on the right side of my card. I had it decided to go on the left side, but when I picked it up, it fell. And it was a reminder to me that I needed some leaves that actually went off of the page so that it looked like it continued. Now for my pile of leaves, I took a piece of Glad Press and Seal and just pressed over top of my little pile and turned it over, and I'm adding glue to the back. And then I'm going to adhere that pile of leaves onto my card front using that press and seal and just carefully lifting it off. Now there will be places that I need to go back in and add glue that will lift up that didn't get any glue when the press and seal was on, but that's easily done. Just going to make sure everything is adhered well. You could have possibly used some double-sided sticky tape for the leaves, but I prefer to use, for this purpose, I prefer to use the Glad Press and Seal. Now I've still got some leaves left, so I'm going to find some places for those. And since I have a leaf hanging off on my right side, I'm going to get one and have it hanging off of the left. And I'm going to adhere the rest of the leaves. Now it's time for the magic. You need 2 pennies. You need the double-sided sticky tape, and you need the pull tab that's in the die set. And I've cut it out of white cardstock and folded it and glued it together onto itself. So you're going to take your double-sided sticky tape, and I used a couple of layers just to make sure that I could get a good adhesion, and I'm going to adhere 1 penny to the back of my koala's face. Now with my koala face down on my work surface, I'm going to place my card front that we have ink blended down over top of my koala. And I'm going to take a small piece of Scotch double-sided foam tape and go to the back of the penny, making sure that that piece of Scotch foam tape is small enough to slide up and down in my little slot. Then I'm going to adhere that other penny on top of the Scotch foam tape. Gonna turn him over. Let's check and make sure. I think off camera I'm making sure, I'm sorry y'all, making sure that it's sliding up and down the slot well. Just so you know, this is the first time I've ever made a slider card. So this is I'm learning as I go. So I take the pull tab that is in the die set that I have cut out of the same white cardstock, and I'm going to adhere it with some double-sided sticky tape to the back of my second penny that will be on the inside of the card. And once I close up my card, that is going to be what you pull to make the koala go up and down. And also now we're going to add some Scotch double-sided foam tape to the back of the card, the entire back of the card, leaving a channel for the penny to slide up and down in. You want to make sure there's plenty of room on each side for that penny to go up and down, so that when you pull the tab, the koala will jump up and down into the leaves. I did get a little bit close on that one side, but I think it will be fine. And you also want to make sure that that foam tape is thick enough that it will leave clearance for the penny to slide up and down. Now once I get all of the Scotch double-sided foam tape to the back, we will begin to take off all the backers and adhere it to the second piece of cardstock that I cut down to 3 1/4, about 8 1/4. And again, I'm so sorry, I'm doing all this off screen, but I'm checking to make sure everything is going to work right. The one thing I didn't do right here that I wish that I would have done before I closed up my card I wish that I would have ink blended on the top of my pull tab before I closed everything up. You'll see in a little bit that I go back and I actually ink blend over the top of it, but it's not the greatest in the world. It would have been better to have done it ahead of time, and I just didn't. Again, this is the first time I've done an interactive card like this, so I didn't even think about the fact that that pull tab was going to show on the front. So when the koala is all the way down, you see a white spot, and it just doesn't look all that great. but I fix it, and it's somewhat acceptable once I fix it. I have a little bit hanging off the bottom there, so I trim that off. That's another thing. You probably don't have to have that piece on the back. I wanted to make sure that when I put this together that it would work before I actually put it onto a card base, and so that's why I did that. You're gonna see here where I'm trying to fix my little boo-boo, and I get too much ink for one thing, and so it's a little bit darker. The ink also gets onto my card base, so you can see where I've added that on. Tried my best to blend it out, but you know, it would have just been better if I'd have done that beforehand. It would have looked a lot better. But as you see, when he's up in the air, you can see the piece that we glued to the card base, or that card base on the back. Now I'm going to take the stamp set from TLC Designs. It is a photopolymer stamp. It's called Action Stamps, and I'm just going to stamp the word pull at the top of my card. I'm using some VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink, my favorite black ink to use when I have to use black ink, so that the recipient will know to pull that little tab when it is time. And so now I want to add a little something to the inside of my card, and because I can, I'm going to, well actually I'm going to add my card base first. I'm going to add my card front to my card base. It's just centered on the middle of that card. The card base is cut to 8.5 by 7 and scored along the 7-inch side at 3.5 to make what some people call a standard slimline card. There are multiple sizes of slimline cards, and whatever works for you is the best thing. But that's the size I made today. I decided I had a few leaves left, and I would go ahead and put those around the top of the card. I realized I was going to have room for that, but not room for a sentiment. So I'm going to put my sentiment on the inside of my card. So I have taken the sentiment Happy Fall Y'all from that same digital stamp set, and I have printed it out with my laser printer, and I have foiled it with some gold foil for no other reason than I have gold foil and I had to print it on my laser printer anyway, so why not add foil to it, right? And I'm just going to bubble cut around it, and I'm going to add that to the inside of our card for our sentiment. And again, since I'm from the South, it's got to say Happy Fall Y'all, because that's exactly how we would say it. I'm going to attempt to put glue on it. I keep dropping it. But I'm going to use my art glitter glue and glue that down right there in the center. I am so happy that you decided to stop by my channel today. I hope you enjoyed the card. I hope you head on over to TLC Designs and check out the great digital stamps as well as the photopolymer stamps and dies in the shop. They are really awesome. Here are a few ways that you can support my channel. If you haven't already, consider becoming a subscriber to my channel. I would be very honored if you did that. If you found value in this video, give it a thumbs up and share it on your social media. I list all of the products I used in my description box below and add affiliate links when possible. When shopping through these links, you can help my channel. It doesn't cost you any more, but I will earn a small commission each time you use one of these links. I've also set up a new Buy Me a Coffee site. Head over there and buy me a cup of coffee if you wish to support this channel. All of these things support my channel and help me bring even more and better content to the channel. Thanks again for spending part of your busy day with me. I appreciate each and every one of you. Until next time, bye.